Ramyasri NPC, an educator at ClearIAS. Let's start with today's prelims questions.
Question number 1. Consider the following statements about rule of law. 1. It puts an end to the tyranny or chaos. 2. It erects legal impediments to arbitrary government actions. Which of the following given above is or are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. C, both 1 and 2. And D, neither 1 nor 2. Question number 2. Consider the following statements. 1. In modern meaning, constitutional morality implies adhering to the Constitution's substantial moral obligations. 2. The Supreme Court has not clearly defined the breadth and degree of constitutional morality. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. And D, neither 1 nor 2.
Don't forget to comment if you know the answers. Now it's time for today's mains questions.
Question number 1. Constitutional morality is rooted in the Constitution itself and is founded on the essential facet. Explain the doctrine of constitutional morality with the help of relevant judicial decisions. This question was asked by the UPSC in the year 2021. Question number 2. What is constitutional morality? Discuss how does one uphold constitutional morality. This is also a previous UPSC question which was asked in the year 2019.
You can write mains answers too in the comment box. Today's questions are related to the topic constitutional morality.
This topic comes under paper 3 of the UPSC main syllabus, that is General Studies 2, under it Indian Constitution.
Constitutional morality is a very important topic. UPSC has asked questions related to constitutional morality in the recent mains exam, that is 2021 mains, and also in the year 2019. So, I'm going to explain this topic in detail now under the heads.
Meaning of constitutional morality, sources, main themes of constitutional morality, scope, judgments defining constitutional morality, how to uphold constitutional morality, significance, concerns, and conclusion.
What do you mean by the term constitutional morality? We know that Constitution is the fundamental law of the land and morality is an individual's sense of right and wrong. Hence, constitutional morality is broadly a metric of what the Constitution deemed to be right or wrong.
The term constitutional morality has not been clearly defined either by the Constitution or by the judiciary. It means adherence to the core principles of the constitutional democracy. It comprises a commitment to a democratic and inclusive political process that serves both individual and social interest. It is a sentiment to be cultivated in the minds of a responsible citizen but to be promoted by an independent judiciary embodied with values and ethics. Ambedkar in the Constitutional Assembly was referring to methods that are adopted in policy making where the Constitution is either silent or gives discretionary powers. Thus, he was referring to an approach whose essence should be unanimity of approach, a process effective to mediation in case of differences. According to him, constitutional morality would mean effective coordination between conflicting interests of different people and the administrative cooperation to resolve them amicably without any confrontation among the various groups working for the realization of their ends at any cost. Constitutional morality appears throughout the Constitution, most notably in Preamble, Part 3 and Part 4. The Constitution explicitly mentions this concept only 4 times, twice in Article 19 and twice in Right to Religion, that is under Article 25 and Article 26. Morality gives liberation to the Constitution at its core. In practice, constitutional morality is evident in various well-established rights that emanate from the Constitution, such as rule of law, individual liberty, right to equality, freedom of choice and expression, social justice, due process of law, and procedure established by law. Constitutional morality implies that the democratic government should restore core democratic values such as liberty, equality, justice, and fraternity. The government should follow the rule of law in governance and transform the ideals of the preamble in the establishment of a more vibrant social, economic, and political system based on democratic values. Constitutional morality provides a principled framework for carrying out the work of governance. It specifies the norms that institutions must follow. It also holds the governing institutions and their representatives accountable. Constitutional morality involves adherence to constitutional principles like commitment to liberty, constitutional supremacy, parliamentary form of government, and self-restraint, rule of law, equality, intolerance for corruption, etc. Now we'll see the different sources of constitutional morality. There can be 4 sources from which constitutional morality derives itself. 1. Constitution itself. Constitutional morality can be originated from within the Constitution itself. If read and interpreted properly, Articles 12 to 35, that is fundamental rights, Article 36 to 51, that is directive principles of state policy, preamble, and the fundamental duties, the pervasive essence emphasizing upon constitutional morality. 2. The debates and discussions that happened in the Constitutional Assembly have been one of the most important sources of constitutional morality, as Ambedkar's views have been taken as the basis of modern day understanding of the same. 3. The events that unfolded during the framing of the Constitution and the requisite constitutional history associated with it. 4. The case laws and precedents, especially in the modern day era, with so many draconian laws read down by the Honorable Supreme Court and various high courts in upholding the spirit of constitutional morality and strengthening democratic ideals. Next is about the main themes of constitutional morality. The philosophy of constitutional morality is based on the concepts of freedom and self-restraint. Self-restraint is a precondition for freedom in the constitutional process for its better functioning. The reservoir of social welfare in the Indian Constitution is found in Part 4 in the form of directive principles. However, the directive principles of state policy can have conflicts with the fundamental rights given in the Constitution. In the Minerva Mills case, the Supreme Court addressed these concerns by emphasizing the two's harmonious construction in the real spirit of constitutional morality. Next is about the scope of constitutional morality. The scope of constitutional morality has been given by the Supreme Court in many cases. The court has given the statement that morality should sustain. The verdict given by Supreme Court leaves it transparent and optional for subjective interpretations by individual judges of the courts. Now we can discuss about different judgments defining constitutional morality. 1. Kesavananda Bharati case. In this case, the Supreme Court restricted the power of the Parliament to violate the basic structure of the Constitution. 2. Nas Foundation case. In its verdict, the Supreme Court opined that only constitutional morality and not public morality should prevail. 3. Government of NCT of Delhi versus Union of India case. Here, Supreme Court proclaimed constitutional morality as a governing idea that highlights the need to preserve the trust of people in the institution of democracy. The Supreme Court was called upon to determine the extent of powers of the Lieutenant Governor of Delhi. Therein, it was observed by the Supreme Court that the constitutional morality is not just the forms and procedures of the Constitution, but provides an enabling framework that allows a society the possibilities of self-renewal. 4. Indian Young Lawyers Association versus State of Kerala, that is the Sabarimala case. Here, the Supreme Court overruled the doctrine of essentiality to uphold the constitutional morality. In the verdict of Sabarimala case, religious freedom, gender equality, and the rights of women to worship guaranteed under Article 14, Article 21 and Article 25 of the Constitution were reinstated and struck down the practice of banning entry of women of a certain age to Sabarimala temple in Kerala as unconstitutional. Constitutional morality here went against social morality that discriminated against women based on biological reasons like menstruation. 5. Navadip Singh Johar versus Union of India. Here, the Supreme Court established a framework to reaffirm the dignity, life, liberty and identity of LGBTQ and all the gender non-conforming people. We have seen what constitutional morality is. Now we need to know how to uphold these values. To uphold constitutional morality, one should have a clear knowledge about the Constitution and its ideals. One should be well versed with not only letter but spirit of Constitution. He or she should have commitments to the ideals and aspirations of the Constitution, respecting the Constitution and all forms of authority deriving their command from it. 4. Constitutional methods must be used for achieving social and economic objectives. 5. The central elements of constitutional morality are freedom and self-restraint. Self-restraint is a precondition for maintaining freedom under a proper constitutional government. 6. Following fundamental duties and exercising fundamental rights. 7. Criticizing and raising voice against the non-constitutional practices. It is necessary to speak up against any actions which you feel as illegal or unethical under the Constitution. By going against the conventions and taking a moral high ground, you act as a preserver of constitutional values. 8. Educating public regarding the importance to uphold constitutional ideals. Only our beliefs and actions for upholding constitutional values are not enough. It's our moral obligation to educate public regarding the importance to uphold these values. Next is about the significance of constitutional morality. 1. Constitutional morality ensures the rule of law in the land while integrating the changing aspirations and ideals of the society. 2. As a governing ideal, it highlights the need to preserve the trust of the people in institutions of democracy. 3. It can use laws to impact and change the persisting social morality. 4. It recognizes plurality and diversity in society and tries to make individuals and communities in the society more inclusive in their functioning. 5. It helps in holding government accountable by facilitating the courts to examine the spirit and concerns of the Indian Constitution. Besides the pros and importance attached to constitutional morality, there are also certain concerns which need to be addressed. Firstly, there is no explicit mention of the term constitutional morality in the Constitution of India. Despite the presence of several precedents or judgments based on the principle, there is no fixed definition that has been attributed to constitutional morality. Thus, it has an open-ended meaning and is privy to subjective interpretations by different perception holders. Moreover, it has been left on the discretion of the individual judges to interpret its essence and apply in requisite situations. Another viewpoint is that it hinders the organic and natural development of liberalism or rectification of the wrongs or ethical ills of the society, as it vests powers in the hands of the courts to implement a top-down approach of the ideal on the morality front. Some say that it indirectly reflects a lack of faith on the true ideals of democracy, which is based on the wisdom of the populace that is to be governed. Another strong argument against the existence of constitutional morality as a judicial principle is that it is in clear violation of a very basic tenet of democracy, that is, of separation of power between the three wings of the state governance framework: judiciary, legislature, and the executive. It establishes judicial supremacy and excess activism by the courts, leading to the intervention in those functions which are primarily sanctioned to be undertaken by the legislature. Some also interpret this as a fraud on the Constitution in a veil of promoting constitutionalism. Constitutional morality promotes judicial overreach by putting it against social morality. In the recent past, the Attorney General of India, Mr. KK Venugopal, described constitutional morality as dangerous to the country. He expressed that the Supreme Court is slowly transforming into a third parliament chamber. Coming to the conclusion, constitutional morality is a concept that should be instilled in the minds of all responsible citizens. Maintaining constitutional morality is not only the responsibility of the judiciary or the state, but also of every individual. It can be rightly categorized as a second basic structure doctrine. Even though it's a bit vague and unclear with regards to its definition, like most of the other constitutional doctrines, the kind of judicial system that exists in the country makes it a necessity and also mandates it for the judges to fill in the hollow vessels of these doctrines with words of legal expertise and experience gathered over the years of practice.
So, we have seen the topic constitutional morality in detail. Now, see the questions once again to ensure that you are able to answer all the questions.
Question number 1. Consider the following statements about rule of law. 1. It puts an end to the tyranny or chaos. 2. It erects legal impediments to arbitrary government actions. Which of the following given above is or are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. C, both 1 and 2. And D, neither 1 nor 2. Question number 2. Consider the following statements. 1. In modern meaning, constitutional morality implies adhering to the Constitution's substantial moral obligations. 2. The Supreme Court has not clearly defined the breadth and degree of constitutional morality. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? Option A, 1 only. Option B, 2 only. Option C, both 1 and 2. And D, neither 1 nor 2. Question number 1. Constitutional morality is rooted in the Constitution itself and is founded on the essential facet. Explain the doctrine of constitutional morality with the help of relevant judicial decisions. Question number 2. What is constitutional morality? Discuss how does one uphold constitutional morality.
We are looking forward to hearing from you. Suggestions for improving this video series are highly appreciated. If you like this video, please subscribe our channel and support us. Thank you.